The primary job at Christ School is to develop a young man and his future. Coming to a school like this, they get to be the captain of their own ship. They get to make choices that have benefits. Learning to do business with adults and being their own self-advocate, I don't know if there's anything more important than that.
Yeah, relationships are at the core of what we do. We don't want people to just be passengers throughout this entire experience. We want them to be drivers.
When my son came as a 9th grader, it was kind of normal. You met your teacher on the first day of class. But after you've been here a year, it's so wonderful because by the time you go into, let's say, 10th grade and you go to see your teachers for the first time, you've already probably either had them as a coach or had meals with them in the dining hall.
I think that the relationship with teachers especially, from my experience, is just really close. So it's small classes, really intimate with the teacher. Even during extra help or after school, you can schedule meetings or even just show up.
I came to Christ School this year, so it's just been really supportive. Everybody's been really nice, and I've already met a lot of people. I can go someplace and all the teachers know my name, which is just a great experience that you can't get in a lot of places.
Each boy comes here with a narrative, with experiences, with quirks, with a sense of humor. We like that. What we want to do is to develop that. So at graduation, I've got an 18-year-old boy crossing the stage that's fully engaged and fully functional and ready for the next step in his life.
The way the teachers teach, totally boy-centered, because they know through research that boys like a louder voice. They like a teacher that's moving around the room. The boys want to interact with the teacher.
I've gotten into things, digital photography, like that I wouldn't usually do at home or at another school.
The course load is difficult in a way, but you have people who can support you and help you through it.
The Christ School campus is located in a very unique area. We're 8 miles from downtown Asheville and all the amenities that they offer. But more importantly, we have these 500 pristine acres where a boy can be a boy. If he wants to run through the woods, if he wants to fish, if he wants to ride his mountain bike through the 5 miles of cut trails, this is just an awesome venue.
For boys, it's a dream world here in the mountains with so many outdoor adventure sports all around that they can get to quickly. But at the same time, to have what downtown Asheville offers with all of the arts and the different activities, it's just a perfect location for this school.
There's a bond here, there's a brotherhood where they watch each other's backs, they support each other, whether it's on the stage in drama, whether it's on the football field, whether it's on a community service trip. There is a special camaraderie here that you can only really experience if you come and see it and meet our young men. It is one of the most impressive things and the thing that I'm probably most proud of here at Christ School.
Test, test. Good. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon and welcome to this Christ School Broadcast Network production, bringing you the final 3A quarterfinal game matchup between the number 6 High Point Christian Cougars and the Greenies of Christ School. High Point comes into this game at 13-13, having recently defeated Durham Academy on Tuesday in the first round. Christ School comes into the game at 22-12 in the regular season, earning a first round bye and the opportunity to host this second round game. The winner of this game will move on to championship weekend next weekend at Forsyth Country Day, and they will face Greensboro Day, who defeated Cannon School last night in Greensboro 65-45. I'm Associate Athletic Director Bobby Long alongside Senior William Smoots, and we are happy to bring you this final varsity game here at Christ School, your final game on the broadcast. Will, how you doing?
I'm good. I'm excited. I know it's my last game, so I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully it's an entertaining one. I know last time these two teams matched up, Greenies got away with a large victory, but it's playoff time, so it should be close.
Yeah, you're right. In that game, the teams matched up on January 5th. The Greenies won 93-70. Was led by an all-around performance from Lawrence Berry. I think he had 11 points, 9 rebounds, 8 assists, 22 points, 12 rebounds, or 12 assists from Jalen LeCue, double-double from Brandon Stone. But, you know, that was a month ago. It was the first day back from break for both teams. I think High Point struggled a little bit from shooting, and that's one of their strong points. So I would be surprised to see them not shoot well here tonight.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, Christ School obviously definitely has a size advantage going into this one, so it's really up to High Point's shooting ability. Like you said last time, didn't shoot the ball too well, but it's playoff time, and most teams usually they play to their best during this time.
Oh, absolutely. And watching them in warm-ups, High Point has been making pretty much all of their shots. So I would be surprised to see another 23-point game. Games always slow down a bit and get a bit closer during playoff time. So we will be back in a second as we will have the national anthem.
And we're back for the starting lineups. First, for High Point Christian, number 2, Kyle Watkins. Number 11, Lance Boykin. Number 5, Landon Sutton. Number 22, Andrew Gordon. And number 32, Jake Ledbetter. And for the Christ School Greenies, a different lineup this afternoon. First, number 1, Trey Austin. Number 3, Lawrence Berry. Number 4, Kojak Thompson. Number 23, Brandon Stone. And number 24, Justice Ajobo.
You know, Will, I was speaking with Coach DePelto last night, and he said that he wants our team to make High Point play a bit faster than they're comfortable and really take advantage of our size down low. You know, I think their tallest player is around 6'5". That's number 22, Andrew Gordon. We know we've got 2 guys that are 6'10" and above. We got another one coming off the bench at 6'10". He really wants to play an inside-out game, forcing some of their players into foul trouble and really taking advantage of our size.
Yeah, I think Hunter and I up in the booth have noticed that all season as well. When Christ School plays inside out and they go in and find Brandon and find Justice at the beginning of the games, it usually tends to really open up the outside shots, and that's when Christ School begins to hit their shots and really hit stride.
You know, defensively, High Point has been in a 3-2 when they played us before, so we'll see what they start off in to start this game, and it looks like they will. 3-2 zone.
So Christ School is going to have the first possession here. And I bet you all the players on the court right now have to be a little bit nervous.
Absolutely. You know, it's do or die at this point.
As Trey Austin misfires his 3, but Brandon Stone right there with an easy putback.
Absolutely. You see us pressing now. You know, with that offensive rebound, one of the things that Coach talked about, you know, taking advantage of that size and really trying to get to the offensive glass is one of the things that we did right off the bat.
As number 2, Watkins, he drains the first shot for High Point Christian, and they're on the board.
High Point Christian is unafraid of any shot on the floor. As we see, he was one to pull up with 6'10" Justice Ajobo in his face. We've got to be prepared to keep them from getting good looks.
As Norris Berry, he answers with the 3. So like you said, Norris Berry had a big game last time these two teams met up, and so it'd be great to see if he got off the same type of start. As Thompson on the defensive side gets a steal, and the Greenies are pushing it the other way. And an offensive charge. Basket's going to be waved off. That one's going to go on number 3, Barry.
Yeah, great job by number 5, Landon Sutton, to take that charge. Difficult call there with Norwich trying to get out of the way, but Sutton had been lined up for about 5 seconds there.
So Ledbetter, he's going to fire a deep 3, and he gets that one to go.
Yeah, if you're a Christ School Greenie, you got to get your hand up. You know, one of the keys to the game for High Point is to knock down shots. They have multiple players that can score, and they've got to be able to make them. So far from 3, they're 2 for 2 in this game.
As Stone, he hits a mid-range, so both teams shooting the ball pretty well to start the game.
In the last few games, the Greenies have kind of struggled right off the bat. So one of the keys that I also had for High Point was trying to jump on Christ School early, take advantage of maybe some nerves. And I'm telling you right now, High Point does not look nervous at all.
No, you're right about that. As Sutton, he drains another 3. So High Point Christian, 3 for 3 from beyond the arc to start the game. Good start for them. As Thompson, he fires a 3, but can't get it to go. And Stone's going to get another offensive rebound.
Yeah, that's his second of the game.
And Thompson, magical play right there. He gets the and-1 and will go to the line to try and make it a 3-point play.
The 3-point play the old-fashioned way is what my coach used to call it.
And he gets it to go. With that being said, Thompson's going to check out, and number 0, Jalen LeCue, is going to check in the game. So LeCue's going to try to get the offense, or put some energy into the offense, I should say. Whenever he checks in, he's going to be guarding Ledbetter.
I've been impressed by both offenses so far, have been incredibly efficient. And I'm telling you, I have not seen, that's Sutton's third 3. I have not seen him hit the rim yet.
It's a pretty shot, and that puts High Point Christian up by 2 now, just minutes into the game, as Austin's going to fire a 3 and can't get it to go, but Ajabol, he's going to get fouled by number 11, Boykin. So he'll go to the line to shoot 2, and I'll tell you what, Ajabo has improved tremendously throughout the season from the line.
You know, normally when a commentator says that, they're jinxing them on the free throw line. So let's see how we go here. I'm not going to blame that on you, but he'll have another one here from the free throw line. It's 12-10. You know, 4 3-pointers from High Point. You got to try and get them off the 3-point line, force them into contested 2-point shots.
As Ajabo makes his second one. So lead now down to just 1 for High Point Christian, and we'll see if their shooting can continue.
Good switch there by the Greenies. Now this is a play that High Point has called double, and they continually run double screens for Sutton.
As Ledbetter misses that deep 3, so High Point Christian showing signs that they're not going to make everything, but nonetheless, Greenies going to look to answer. So far, like you said, they've been going inside, and it looks like it's been working out pretty well.
Yeah, absolutely. They got to continue to go there. They're really making this 3-2 zone move. As you change that three-pointer by Trey Austin, as you change sides of the floor, your percentage goes up that you're going to get a good shot. And as they moved from one side of the floor 3 times there, get a wide-open shot from Trey Austin, who knocked it down. You notice Norrance Berry has his hands up on Sutton there as soon as he touches the ball, since he's 3 for 3 from the floor. We've got to make life difficult for him, really force him to go to the hole instead of being able to spot up from 3.
As Watkins fires a 3, and Stone's going to bring it down, and the Greenies are going to push it the other way. So LeCue now thought about settling, and Stone's going to take a mid-range. That one rattles out.
Yeah, that middle of the zone is going to be open all game. We just got to be able to take advantage. One of the things that I've seen from Brandon throughout the year is he's being more aggressive from the high post, which is exactly what we need. And they're going to get him the ball, and he's going to have to take advantage.
You're right, and I think we noticed at the beginning of the season when he'd get the ball at the high post, he tends to turn around and settle for a jump shot instead of attacking like he has grown to do during the second half of the season.
Yeah, he can't be reluctant to take the ball to the hole. I mean, he's 6'11", he's got a great size advantage. He can dribble the ball, he makes good decisions. And as you see there, they're going to call it on the floor, but that's exactly what Brandon's getting to do, get their team into foul trouble and continually be aggressive throughout this game.
Yeah, and that foul was called on number 12, Connor Smith, his first, team's third. And Halverson checks into the game for the Greenies. And LeCue, he drives and is going to get the foul. That one's on number 5, Sutton, his first as well.
So Jalen has actually been out. This is his first game in about 2 weeks. I think he got the flu last week, was unable to play all of last week. So that's his first shot attempt from the floor since, I would say, January, honestly.
Yeah, he was out with the flu, so a little bit of an impact for the Greenies. They struggled during that time to sort of create some offense during their games as he misses both free throws.
It's been a pretty good flow to this game so far here in the early going. Just five and a half minutes in, but teams are getting good shots, moving up and down the floor. Not too many fouls have been called, although the foul favor is in favor of the Greenies 4-1 right now, as they've been more aggressive, not settling for three-pointers. But it's hard to say they're settling for three-pointers when they're 4 of 6 from the three-point line.
And Sutton drives on Halverson, so he's going to go to the line to shoot 2, and Halverson, he picks up an early foul.
Yeah, Sutton is averaging nearly 10 points per game. However, he already has 9 here, just 5.5 minutes into the game. And now he has more than his average with 10 points.
I can't recall the last time the Greenies matched up against High Point Christian. He even played that well. I know they just, as a team, they really struggled from beyond the arc, and so I think that's what helped the Greenies have a comfortable win against them as Halverson misfires. And High Point Christian with some ball movement. And number 3, Dalton. He gets the rebound and puts it back in.
Yeah, one of the keys to the game we talked about was Kreisel getting on the offensive glass. However, that's the second offensive rebound for High Point, and something that cannot happen if Kreisel wants to come away with this victory.
And Stone, he tried finding Archibald inside, but Archibald had the double sent to him. I think we've noticed that a lot as the season has progressed. Teams have been, they have a tendency to double Archibald down in the paint right away as LeCue misfires his 3. And Archibald, great display of hands right there, puts it back in.
Yeah, he's tough to guard. I mean, compared to the High Point players, he's got about 5 or 6 inches on these guys. I mean, they're battling down there, but, Kreisel will continue to try and get him the ball over the course of this game, and he's got to take advantage.
So a turnover by High Point Christian. I think that's what we've noticed as well here in the first quarter is the limited turnovers by both teams. Both teams playing really fundamental basketball and just, I guess it's pretty basketball, even though the score is just 16-16.
That's how I'd prefer the game to be played, without turnovers, playing smart basketball, trying to find the open player.
As LeCue turns that one over.
Looks like High Point will hold the ball for one shot with 30 seconds remaining here in the first quarter, all tied up. This is what I would imagine High Point wanted coming in here, making sure to take advantage of the early going. Take advantage of some open shots in which they were 4 of 6 from 3 this quarter.
Yeah, I think you're right about that because if you think about it, 4 of the 5 Christ School players on the court right now have never played in a playoff game before for the Greenies, as number 22, that was Gordon who misses the layup to end the quarter, and score at the end of the first, 16 apiece. So I guess if you're High Point Christian, you have to be a little satisfied with the way this game is going so far, keeping it close.
Absolutely. They've played great. They forced Christ School into the 2 turnovers. These last 2 possessions came in just doing absolutely fantastic. Like I said, 4 of 6 from 3, and that's one of the keys. Coach Chapelto said this team can score in bunches, and they did right away, getting an early 12 points off 3-pointers. And I don't know, they've been fun to watch so far. I have to say this game's been fun, and it was a quick quarter.
Yes, it was. With that being said, it should be interesting to see how the tempo sort of changes as this game goes on. We'll see if Christ School can speed things up maybe and play to their advantage.
A reminder, the winner of this game will face Greensboro Day next Friday at Forsyth Country Day. That game will be at 6:30. The other 2 quarterfinal games are between Charlotte Country Day and Wesleyan. They will play later tonight, as will Charlotte Christian and Providence Day.
And number 3, Dalton can't get it to go, and an offensive foul is going to be called on number 0, Robertson. It's a 15 foul for High Point Christian here in the first half. And LeCue, he's going to bring the ball up the court for the Greenies to get things started in the second quarter.
Yeah, High Point Christian is switching to a man defense, which is not something they did. They ran zone 3-2 the entire time they played last game in January, trying to give Christ School another look here.
As Sutton fires a deep 3. A little short, but good hustle there by number 1 Watkins, who kicks it out, and LeCue finally brings it down for the Greenies.
Yeah, Christ School lucky there with the offensive rebound by High Point. There were 2 excellent three-point attempts, wide open three-point attempts by High Point that just didn't go down.
As Sutton, he misfires yet again, and another offensive foul, it looks like. Oh, I take that back. That foul's going to be called on the Greenies, on number 23, Stone. That's his first.
Yeah, after those first 3 three-pointers from, who was that? Excuse me, Landon Sutton. He's cooled off a bit. He's now 3 of 6, but they're getting wide open looks, which is is what they're going to look to get all game.
So High Point Christian going to keep working the ball around as Dalton drives and misses, and LeCue's coming the other way as he drives inside and attacks the rim for the and one. Great awareness there by Jalen LeCue.
They did a great job, sneaking through the defense and creating some contact there, finishing strong, and he'll get a chance to go to the line. He's 0 for 2 so far this game. But, in the season, he's well over 70%, so I'd be surprised to see him miss this one.
And
we'll take it.
Luckily gets that one to go, so Greenies now up by 3. As High Point Christian looks to answer.
High Point Christian's got a lot of great action on the offensive end, continually making Christ School switch and really have to communicate. You see a lot of times where Justice or Brandon has been switched on to a smaller guard, and they've been able to get a good shot.
Yes, as Sutton lays that one in, and LeCue drives again and draws the contact, so he'll go to the line to shoot 2. That foul was on number 12, Smith, his second, and the team's 7th. So I think that's what we've noticed LeCue. He does 2 things better than most anybody in the state. He attacks the rim, and he finds these incredible passes. And so I think that's what we've noticed in this game. 2 times now in a row he's attacked the rim and been able to get to the free throw line. And he's got 5 points now to start the second quarter.
Yeah, his aggressiveness, along with aggressiveness that we've seen from Justice and Brandon, has already put High Point in the bonus for the rest of this quarter. And with 6 minutes to play, you'd imagine that they'll go to the line a couple times and hopefully be able to take advantage as High Point gets another wide-open three-point attempt.
Yeah, that one was by Ledbetter. As LeCue now, he drives, and he finds Ajabol, who just slams that one home.
Yeah, there's not much you can do if he gets the ball in the paint with that much space. Most of the time you just got to get out of the way. So with 5:31 remaining in the second quarter, 23-18, we've seen Christ School's aggressiveness, really kind of, start to lengthen this lead a bit. A great timeout there by Coach Cooper. I have to say High Point has gotten some fantastic shots that they haven't made this quarter. But, if they continue to get these shots, I'd be surprised if they didn't knock them down, honestly.
Yeah, and if they get these shots, that's the best way they're going to stay in this game, because going inside so far this game hasn't proved too efficient for High Point Christian, but Greenies definitely need to step up the defense a little bit and limit these open shots.
As a coach, one of the hardest things to try and teach is that communication defensively, and High Point's going to test that today with their ability to create switches, to set screens for each other, and really constant movement. So they've done a great job thus far, and I would say 10 or 12 of their three-point attempts have been wide open, and they've connected on 5 of them. So they're going to have to look for that consistent ability to get open shots to hopefully get them back in this.
So High Point Christian going to reset things offensively as Sutton, he finds Robertson in the post. He turns around and takes a shot, and Ajbo's going to bring that one down easily. So good defensive stop there for the Greenies. And Ajabul, a circus shot right there. He's gonna go line to try to get the three-point play.
Yeah, this is actually the third three-point play opportunity for the Greenies. Trying to take it inside, like we said earlier. One of the goals from Coach DePelto was to get an inside-out game. He took a couple threes there in the first quarter, but really I think he must have said in the second quarter huddle and said, guys, we are going to the hole. Let's force them to try and defend us. We have the size. Let's take advantage.
You're right about that. As Gordon, he tried a spin move on Ajabo and gets that rejected, and Thompson's coming the other way. As a little confusion there down on the other side, and Ajabo somehow ends up with a basket.
Yeah, it looked like two players there, one from High Point, one from Christ School, got tangled up. A foul could or should have been called. And I think everyone stopped kind of assuming a call was going to be called, but with nothing there, you have a situation where the ball eventually gets its way to Justice, and he finishes.
So a foul now. That one's going to be on Stone, his second and the team's fourth. He's got to be careful here. Can't pick up a third one before the half.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised with a 10-point lead with 3 minutes and 46 seconds left if he wouldn't take Brandon out just so that, he doesn't pick up that third foul.
So Stone, really the only person for the Greenies in a little bit of foul trouble. We'll keep an eye on that as number 3, Dalton, can't get the second free throw to go. So the lead now just 9 for the Greenies. And LeCue's going to fire a 3. Misses, but Ajabo easily gets the rebound.
It looks like they're really trying to make a concerted effort to get the ball inside.
And Stone's going to pick up a third foul.
Yeah, that's tough, you appreciate the aggressiveness, but also now picks up 3 fouls. We won't see him the rest of this half. And he's got to be careful in that third quarter as well. Great cut. Wow, great cut there by Watkins. He finishes with hands in his face. That's the type of continued cutting and movement that we see from High Point that is going to get them back in this game.
You're right, a great find there by Gordon as well as Halverson tried to find, I don't know who he was trying to find, but luckily number 3, Dalton, couldn't save it, so Greenies will retain possession. And Gordon's going to get called for a foul. I believe that is his third foul on number 22, Gordon. Or, sorry, just his second. But that's the team's 9th, and Ajabo will go to shoot a 1-and-1. And he drains the first one. And gets the second one.
Yeah, man, the difference between his free throw shooting from last year to this year has been leaps and bounds, and really important because at the end of games last year it was difficult. Coach had to make a decision. Is he going to keep Justice in? We need his rebounding. We need his aggressiveness. But, it's kind of a DeAndre Jordan situation where they were looking to foul him to put him on the line. But he feels a lot more comfortable this year, and he's not afraid to attack the hole because he knows that he can make his free throws.
And just like that, Greenies, their lead extends to 11. So 4 straight points for Ajabo, and a full timeout is going to be needed by High Point Christian. So far, what have you noticed that the Greenies are really doing well in this matchup?
They're not settling. There's going to be opportunities on the three-point line. There's always going to be opportunities on the three-point line throughout a game. However, they're not settling to take that three-point shot, and they're really trying to look inside and really take advantage of their length, of their size, and that has put High Point Christian into foul trouble. And I think that's why we see an 11-point lead here. Well, at the end of the first quarter, it was just 16-16. So in that second quarter huddle, DePelto definitely mentioned to his guys, we have to be aggressive. We have to take advantage of what we have, and they really have so far here in the second quarter.
With that being said, we'll see how they can finish out this half. Hopefully they can keep this commanding lead and continue to play their sort of way of basketball.
Yeah, last 2 minutes and the first 2 minutes of every quarter incredibly important. To show the other team what you're ready and what you're capable of doing, and so you got to make sure that there's no letdown here. As now High Point is just one foul away from the bonus.
So that foul was called on LeCue. That was only his first of the game, so he'll remain in. So Gordon with the ball. High Point just trying to get some sort of offense going as Gordon drives in. And
that was a great play by Gordon. He would have to try and finish over Ajobo, but he does a great job of sucking the defense in and looks out to one of his guards, and his guard with a great shot fake just misses the shot, but that's exactly what you need to do when we talk about an inside-out game.
Mm-hmm. As Ledbetter, he fires a three, and Halverson gets the rebound, so he's going to push it the other way. And Ajobo going to get called for the over the back.
Yep, so that'll be 1-1 for High Point. We have not been notified if that is his second or first foul. Just first foul, which is good with Brandon Stone, the other big, in foul trouble.
It's always a good sign, but Greenies, they do have another big, like you said, 6'10", Gabe Witznitzer on the bench. So if they need him, he can definitely come in and keep the level of play high.
Absolutely. Talking about Gabe, just a freshman, picked up an offer from Iona this week, and he has the improvement we've seen in his game and his body throughout his time here at Christ School has been incredibly impressive. Great kid. I was just excited for him to see, that offer as a freshman in high school. So he's going to do great things, big things for the Greenies over his time here in the next 3 years.
As Austin from the corner fires a three.
That is his second three of the game. Talk about an improved three-point shooter. Austin has probably made somewhere around 43 pointers this year. He is a constant threat to knock down from the outside.
Yeah, I wouldn't just say an improved shooter, but an improved all-around player since last year. He's been great this year. He's gotten the starting job. And I noticed last year him and Kojak, they both have improved tremendously over the past year. Both last year bench players, they would come in few minutes, but they did a great job. But this year they've been something else.
You're absolutely right. Kojak, people talk about him as a hustle player, but he's an excellent player, kind of a floor general, and he does his best to lock up the other team's point guard and make life difficult for him. And Trey, you're right. He's more than just a three-point shooter, but he has improved mightily his jumping ability, his shooting ability, and that's going to be huge for Christ School as they hopefully attempt to make a run not only this year but next year as well.
So number one, Cole Watkins, he knocks down both free throws. Greenies now just up by 10 as Norrisberry is going to reset.
It's interesting to see. I'm curious what High Point is going to do here in the second half. As in the first half, they ran a 3-2 zone. It was 16-16, and now we see Christ School up 10 points with the ability to go up 12 with these 2 free throw attempts. Are they going to switch back to that 3-2 to try and get back into the game?
So Lawrence Berry makes his first. And like you said, I don't know if it's maybe defensively, but offensively, I think we noticed from the differences, they've scored 9 points this second quarter. And that's because the shooting it wasn't there and it wasn't falling. So maybe a little bit of defensive fault, maybe a little bit of change, but if they can't make their shots, I don't think they can come back into this game.
We got to give credit to the Christ School defense. They've probably done a much better job communicating and making sure they know, trying to not give up any easy buckets or easy three-point attempts. But, High Point has missed a couple easy ones as we see a not the best foul here with 9 seconds left. That'll put Sutton to the line. Sutton has been the offense for High Point as he has, 13 of the 25 points for High Point here in the early going as he looks to go to the line to get 15. This will be 1-1.
Can't get it to go, and LeCue's going to go the other way. 7 seconds now. LeCue, he's going to sell for a 3. Can't get it to go, but Ashabul.
Goodness gracious. That was nice. I mean, talk about getting to the offensive glass. That is one way to do it. Not many players can do that. I certainly couldn't ever do that. That was impressive.
And that just puts an exclamation point on this second quarter for the Greenies. So first half score, 39-25 Greenies. They've got a lot to be excited for coming into this second half.
Yeah, they outscored High Point 23-9 that quarter. They were far more aggressive, getting High Point into foul trouble and, making life difficult for the Cougars on offense. And, their aggressiveness, it really showed, and they wanted to take advantage of that size. And that size is one of the reasons why we see Christ School up 14 points with, 2 quarters left until the Final Four.
Yeah, you're right. And I think the thing we have to sort of take notice for the second half is foul trouble, of course, for High Point Christian. We don't know much about their depth in their bench, but we know that if they continue to shoot like they did in the first quarter and they start to step up their defense, I guess, it should be an entertaining second half.
Well, it's going to be difficult for High Point just in the sense that if they force Christ School into a difficult shot, great. But trying to keep Justice and Brandon and Jalen off the glass, you had multiple defenders actually boxing out on that last play, but Justice has the ability to play above the rim. Not much you can do there. So they're going to have to make some shots on offense. They're going to have to continue to try and play hard on defense to get back into this. But as Coach DePelto said in our meeting last night, he said this team can score in bunches, and they're capable of huge runs with their ability to shoot. They started off the game 4 for 6 from 3, a couple threes right off the bat in the third quarter, and they're right back into this. And lastly, in fact, I was talking to their coach before the game, and they recently beat Greensboro Day. I think it was on High Point senior night, and Greensboro Day predominantly a perennial, it was state champions last year. Yeah, they were, and a perennial powerhouse in the nation. And Greensboro Day came into that fourth quarter up 12. And it was the ability to knock down shots and to play stingy defense that got High Point back in the game. So this is all but over here with just 16 minutes to play in the game.
You're right about that. With that being said, we'll be back in a couple of minutes for some more second half action. Thank you for tuning in so far. We hope you enjoy.
The primary job at Christ School is to develop a young man and his future. Coming to a school like this, They get to be the captain of their own ship. They get to make choices that have benefits. Learning to do business with adults and being their own self-advocate, I don't know if there's anything more important than that.
Yeah, relationships are at the core of what we do. We don't want people to just be passengers throughout this entire experience. We want them to be drivers.
When my son came as a ninth grader, it was kind of normal. You met your teacher on the first day of class. But after you've been here a year, it's so wonderful because by the time you go into, let's say, 10th grade and you go to see your teachers for the first time, you've already probably either had them as a coach or had meals with them in the dining hall.
I think that the relationship with teachers especially, from my experience, is just really close. So it's small classes, really intimate with the teacher. Even during extra help or after school, you can schedule meetings or even just show up.
I came to Christ School this year, so it's just been really supportive. Everybody's been really nice, and I've already met a lot of people. I can go someplace and all of the teachers know my name, which is just a great experience that you can't get in a lot of places.
Each boy comes here with a narrative, with experiences, with quirks, with a sense of humor. We like that. What we want to do is to develop that. So at graduation, I've got an 18-year-old boy crossing the stage that's fully engaged and fully functional and ready for the next step in his life.
The way the teachers teach, totally boy-centered, because they know through research that boys like a louder voice. They like a teacher that's moving around the room. The boys want to interact with the teacher.
I've gotten into things, digital photography, like that I wouldn't usually do at home or at another school.
The course load is difficult in a way, but you have people who can support you and help you through it.
The Christ School campus is located in a very unique area. We're 8 miles from downtown Asheville and all the amenities that they offer. But more importantly, we have these 500 pristine acres where a boy can be a boy. If he wants to run through the woods, if he wants to fish, if he wants to ride his mountain bike through the 5 miles of cut trails, this is just an awesome venue.
For boys, it's a dream world here in the mountains with so many outdoor adventure sports all around that they can get to quickly. But at the same time, to have what downtown Asheville offers with all of the arts and the different activities, it's just a perfect location for this school.
There's a bond here, there's a brotherhood where they watch each other's backs, they support each other, whether it's on the stage in drama, whether it's on the football field, whether it's on a community service trip. There is a special camaraderie here that you can only really experience if you come and see it and meet our young men. It is one of the most impressive things and the thing that I'm probably most proud of here at Christ School.
And we're back for some more second half action. Ready to get things going here in the Greenie Dome.
Win or lose, this will be Christ School's last game here at home. The winner of this game will go on to face Greensboro Day next Friday.
As Stone, he finds LeCue on the alley-oop to get things going.
Something tells me that was drawn up at halftime.
Yeah, that's one way to get the Greenie Dome fired up, for sure. But as you were saying.
Yeah, the winner of this game will go on to face Greensboro Day at Forsyth Country Day next week in the Final Four. That game will be at 6:30.
As Gordon puts it back in for High Point Christian. And yeah, so Greenies, I know they're a little, well, I guess they're excited to hopefully get a win as their last game in the Greenie Dome this season, hopefully for this crowd. I know they would enjoy it.
Yeah, no seniors for the Greenies. As right now currently on the floor, there are 3 juniors and 2 sophomores, though Brandon Stone this week did narrow it down to his Final Four of Pittsburgh, Penn State, Duquesne, and South Carolina. So, exciting moment for him throughout his college, or excuse me, his high school journey. And, now looking to hopefully stay out of foul trouble, like we said in the first quarter. Or excuse me, the first half he had 3 fouls. And definitely doesn't want to pick one up here early in the third.
Yeah, but like you said, it is exciting to see Brandon as he starts to narrow down his college search and for his future as a college athlete. So it should be fun to keep an eye on that as Austin misses, but Brandon gets a rebound and he goes back up and gets that to go. So it's those hustle baskets that Brandon Stone is the master of, and they don't go unnoticed.
Absolutely, Greenies there really doing their best to continually get on the glass, offensive glass. They've had about 10 or 11 more shot attempts because of it, this game. So that's one thing that they came out wanted to do. And hold on, I'll be quiet for a second.
Oh.
Yep.
Maybe they should put high schoolers in a dunk contest.
I guess. I don't know. I saw what was about to happen there. Figured nobody wants to hear me talk. Let's just watch Jalen dunk as Christ School has opened up in the first 2 minutes of the second half. Now 18-point lead.
I feel like that's just become the normal now. When you come into the Greenie Dome, you come watch a basketball game, you're just expecting to see Jalen LeCue dunk. I guess that's always a good sight to see, but I'll tell you what, the score, Greenies now up by 18 just minutes in to the third quarter, and I'll tell you what, I'm more excited about that than his dunk.
Yeah, you're right. In the last 10 minutes of play for High Point, they scored just 10 points. So Christ School has really stepped up their defensive intensity here and have to stay consistent. Just because they're up 18, with what? Math would say 14 minutes to play. Doesn't mean that High Point is out of it, because they have the ability to score in bunches, as we have seen and as they have done all season. So we got to continue this defensive intensity and try to make things difficult for High Point.
Yeah, and with a shooting team like High Point, you can never really tell when the game will be officially over until the clock runs out. So they'll always be in as LeCue to Trey to Ajobo, and Ajobo, he gets it to go.
Yeah, he's matched up with a smaller guard. Trey Austin, I believe, saw that and decided to make the correct decision by getting the ball in the paint.
So Greenies really commanding so far this second half, which is a good sight.
Yeah, associate head coach Tiger Norman, went to their game on Tuesday, had a great scout, figured out that they had 3, really big plays, play where they have a double screen, continually running guys off the double. They have a weave play, and as you can see, they've gotten a lot more comfortable here in the last 2 quarters defending those plays, which is what has helped them lengthen up the lead. As now we're going to have a goaltending and the 4th foul on Brandon Stone. So that does a chance for a 3-point play and a huge foul on Stone, which I imagine we won't see him until the fourth quarter now, picking up his fourth.
Yeah, just careless right there, I would say, especially on a fast break. Got to have a little awareness. You've got 3 fouls. There's a ton of time left. And it's only a 16-point game now. Hopefully, High Point Christian trying to cut it down to 15 with this free throw attempt.
To the line, we have Kyle Watkins, who made that first shot, completed the three-point play. He will check out, and Saeed Dalton will check in for the Cougars. So in the game for the Cougars right now, we have number 12, Connor Smith, number 11, Lance Boykin. We have Sutton, Roberson, as well as Dalton.
As Austin, with some great hustle, tries to steal it. High Point Christian keeps possession as number 12. That's Connor Smith.
Yeah, great play by Roberson there to draw the defense, go behind Ajobo's back, and we got a great 2-point play there. 13-point game with 4 minutes remaining here in the third quarter.
Yeah, 7-0 run right there. Like you said, scoring in bunches is the key for High Point Christian, and that's what they are doing right now. But Christ School keep possession and try to get things started as Halverson, he launches a 3 and rattles that one home. So Halverson, I think, finally on the stat sheet with that first 3-point attempt, or not attempt, but make.
I would imagine that over the course of your time here, you've said the last name Halverson and 3 a few times, as you might have a chance to say it again.
You're exactly right about that. Matt and Brad, both phenomenal shooters. That's Trey Austin. He answers with the 3. But I have this conversation with Hunter almost every time we've commentated. Brad and Matt, they're very similar players, but at the same time, they're both a little better in their perspective, attributes. However, Brad, I would say, he's got a pretty finish around the rim.
He does.
But Matt was just a pure shooter.
I have to be honest, in my 31 years on this earth, I have never seen a shooter better than Matt Halverson. Just absolutely fantastic. He's now at Western Carolina lighting it up for the Catamounts. And, Brad, just a junior, has the ability and the chance to continue to make a few more threes for the Greenies over the course of the next year. 13-point game has just turned into a 17-point game with, is my math right there, 18-point game, as Greenies got a couple steals, some long rebounds, and an offensive rebound from Brad Halverson there, finishing it to lengthen the lead to 18 with 3:25 left here in the third quarter. Another good timeout from Coach Cooper to stop the run there for the Greenies.
And number 2, Peter Lash is going to check in for the Greenies. Peter Lash, a quiet guy on and off the court, but I'll tell you what, he's a great hustle player and a role player, kind of like a Coleman High type of player who we noticed in the past. And so he's got a lot of room for growth as he continues his basketball career.
Yeah, Peter's a fantastic player, the hustle guy for the team right now, but he has the ability to step out, knock down the mid-range shot to make the three-pointer. Plays great defense, a communicator, so he's going to be great for this team, and he's just a sophomore.
As Sutton, I believe, misfires that 3. Him and Halverson are going to be guarding each other, so 2 shooters. Very similar figures right there.
Mm-hmm.
And Ajobo gets the rebound. And Halverson.
Great take there by Brad. Aggressive. Great early up pass there offensively. And then Brad just, finishing it, taking it to the hole.
So Greenies back up by 20. As I believe that was Smith, Connor Smith, with a good pump fake, but couldn't get the finish, and LeCue's coming the other way. Halverson for 3. No good, but Ajobo with the rebound. He gets it back, but couldn't get the turnaround. So pace looks like it's picking up a little bit as Roberson gets the corner 3 to go.
Yeah, he has the ability to fill it up for the Cougars, and we got to be careful. We've had a couple missed buckets here in the last 2 possessions. We've got to make sure we take our time, get a good shot, don't force things.
And a good pass there by Jobo as LeCue attacks the rim.
Yeah, great play there by Jalen. Very shifty on the offensive end. His ability to get by defenders and contort his body in ways that makes it difficult to block him without fouling, which is why you see so many of his, and one opportunities. Ooh, tough shot there by Sutton.
Yeah, across the body shot. Good finish there, and Sutton really leading the way for High Point Christian.
Yeah, he's got 15 of the 42 for the Cougars.
And Thompson fires a deep 3, and that's a pretty shot right there. We've seen Thompson light it up from beyond the arc in several games this year, and I mean, that's always a great sign for the Greenies, especially when you have everybody on the court hitting their shots.
Yeah, you're right. I think it was towards the end of the middle of the season, he had about 5 games in a row with 15-plus points. Really kind of taking over offensively for the Greenies.
And Halverson, he blocks Sutton. Great timing there, and LeCue's going to come the other way.
That's a tough shot there. We'll call it a pass. But Roberson, same spot he hit the first one. He'll hit another one and make it 17 points. We've got 5 seconds left here in the third.
And looks like a deflection. So 2.5 seconds now. High Point Christian need to be careful of any lob that comes for the Greenies. And LeCue, corner 3, no good. So at the end of the third quarter, that was a quick quarter.
It was only 1 foul called on the Greenies, no fouls called on High Point. That's how you want basketball to be played. They're letting the guys play. I think we see a little frustration from Coach DePelto right now, but all in all, up 17 going into the fourth quarter. This is the position in which you want to be at. And, High Point, they've had some great they had a great first quarter. They had some great moments there in the third quarter, but they're going to have to play pretty much perfect basketball here in the fourth quarter if they want to come back into this game with just 8 minutes remaining.
Yeah, so Greenies up by 17. They've got a commanding lead, but the biggest thing I noticed is that Brandon Stone has 4 fouls, so if they want to keep that size advantage, he's got to be careful if he checks into the game. Can't pick up a 5th. But Justice Ajobo, he's been great so far. Him, Jalen LeCue, Kojak Thompson, they've all been wonderful to watch. And I guess that's the team basketball that we've noticed the Greenies have been playing this second half of the season. And that's really when they hit their stride with that 9-game win streak. And really that's what they've been showing today, and that's why they've been successful today, I think.
You're absolutely right. Now we see something interesting here. So an early bucket, that's if you're High Point, that's what you want. Just 8 seconds into the quarter, but the Greenies have gone small. So they're, it's strange. They're matching up to High Point right now. They want to give Justice a break. Brandon's been in foul trouble. So be interesting to see how this works for Christ School.
Halverson misses on the back of the rim, and Thompson's there for the rebound. Thompson with a fancy move, and wow, Kojak Thompson. Beautiful play there. He's even smiling about it.
Absolutely. Now, the one thing, though, that you got to be careful about is, have you heard the phrase time and score, Will?
I have.
Yeah, and, Christ School, we're up 17 points. Don't need to force anything. You can let them come to you. But, it's hard to be upset by a fantastic play there by Kojak Thompson.
You're right about that. And another thing I just noticed is that, like you said, last quarter only 1 foul called on the Greenies. So later in the game, if it comes down to it, High Point Christian's going to have to start fouling. They've got 10 to give. And there's one right there. That one's on number 0, Robertson, his third. And High Point Christian's first of the second half.
Got to be careful. That's a tough cross-court pass. Fortunately, falls in the hands of Norrance Berry. Makes an aggressive play. I think it's going to be on the floor.
Yeah, that one's going to be called on number 5, Landon Sutton. That's his third as well, team's second.
You know, he's really been their best offensive player. This game has 17. Scored the first points of the fourth quarter for the Cougars.
And number 11, Lance Boykin, he's going to foul a cue, as I don't think he wanted to be on the cover of any poster by LeCue.
Yeah, I can't say I've seen too many people attempt to take a charge on Jalen. Though right now I think he's 1 of 4 from the free throw line. You know, we're going to need him, especially next week, if the Greenies are to make it there, to be knocking down these free throws with his aggressiveness, because Greensboro Day, you need to take advantage of every opportunity you have against them, as defensively they're probably the best team in the state, and offensively we're going to have to be as efficient as possible, taking advantage of our free throw situations.
You're right about that, and I think another thing I noticed is that really the Greenies, I think their best game, I don't know if you agree, but their best game came against Providence Day. They shot the ball well, they played defense well, everything was going for them. So to beat a team like GDS, you're gonna have to play your best, and a game like that is what they're gonna need. As Gordon, he couldn't get any of those to go, and LeCue.
You know, that's a tough stretch for High Point there. 2 great offensive rebounds by Gordon. He couldn't put it home. Long rebound goes to Jalen. Jalen's able to finish, and now we've got another fast break opportunity, 3-on-2. You know, it's tough. It could have been, it could have gone down to 14. Now it's back up to 18 with Norrance going to the line. A tough stretch there.
Yeah. So Norrance Berry makes his first free throw. And with that being said, looks like Brandon Stone's going to check back in along with Justice Ajobo.
So now we got the starters in, trying to probably just take advantage and, extend this lead as we're going to go big. And I'd look to see more of that inside-out game. Done a great job getting out on the break, being unselfish. Quite a few Greenies are in the scorebook, so to speak. So they have to continue to play the defense that has got them to this position. Tough shot there by Roberson.
And yeah, another rebound by Jobo. And Barry finds Stone, who lays it in. Great awareness there by Barry.
Yeah, Barry, we mentioned in the first meeting in January 5th, had a great all-around game to lead the Greenies. Today, doing a lot of the same. You know, he might only have 6 or 7 points, but it's his ability to get on the rebound to make the extra pass that has really helped Christ School get in the position in which they are now, up 22 with just 5 minutes to go.
Sutton fires at 3, and Barry brings that rebound, and finds Stone, who gets a dunk of his own. And the Greenies really adding to their lead at this point.
You know, it's interesting, just as I was mentioning time and score, the Greenies said, you know what, let's not listen to that guy. Let's continue to be aggressive. And they went straight from 17 to up 24 points now. So what do I know?
That's why we're up here in the booth.
That's why we're up here in the booth. You're absolutely right.
But I'll tell you what, there's no complaining when the team's playing well and they get the result. So as much as I'll sit up here and critique, at the end of the day, I'll be satisfied with the outcome.
Absolutely. They're playing hard. They're playing well today. Defensively, you know, after that first quarter in which they gave up 16 points, I think that's really, yes, the offense, we know that Christ School can score, but defensively, I think that's why we've seen so much success today. As checking in for the game, I think for the first time, is number 10, Fred Cobb. Brandon does a good job there of avoiding that 5th foul.
And in for the Greenies for the first time all game, number 33, Gabe Witznitzer.
Yeah, just a freshman, as we mentioned before, picked up an offer, his first offer from Iona this week. And he's going to be a great player for the Greenies, always in the weight room, 2-a-days, and has just seen a growth in his game throughout this season. And he's going to be a good one for Christ School over the course of the next 3 years.
And it's good for him to be getting practice against players like Justice Ajobo and Brandon Stone, who are bigger and older. So that's good for him, as well as a turnover by High Point Christian. And Greenies, their lead's going to stay at 24 with just under 4 minutes left here in the fourth quarter. So Gabe now with the ball. Turns that one over, and so a little sloppy play, but nonetheless, 3.5 minutes, and the Greenies still have a commanding lead. As LeCue now, he guards Watkins. And a foul's going to be called. That one's going to be called on Lawrence Berry, number 3, as Dalton tried driving to the rim. He'll go to the line to shoot 2. Try to cut down on this lead. Misses the first one, and looks like number 2, Peter Lash, and number 30, Ben Craig, are going to check back in the game. So Stone looks like he's going to check out. We'll see if that's for the last time. And Dalton misses his second, and Witznisser is there for the rebound.
Yeah, Will, as we kind of look back and talk about some of the keys to the game that we mentioned earlier, we talked about Christ School not forcing shots. You know, they're going up against the 3-2. Let's give up a good shot for a great shot. I feel like they've done that. Talk about taking advantage of their size and getting to the offensive glass. I think after that first quarter, we really took advantage of that and playing an inside-outside game, getting the ball inside in the zone, making them collapse, passing it back out. And, I feel like, Christ School's done that, which is what has given them this 24-point lead. On the other hand, High Point Christian, we talked about knocking down shots. They have multiple players who can score. We've seen Sutton. I think he has 17 points. Roberson's made a few. I think it's Cole Watkins has made a few. But, in the third and fourth quarter, especially, I think some of those shots that we saw falling earlier haven't fallen.
Yeah, and for the Greenies, number 22, Deontay Green, another freshman. He's going to check in, and so will Thompson, as LeCue and Austin looks like they might be checking out for the last time this game as well. Just under 2.5 minutes. What a game they both had.
Yeah, when you watch this game, you see so much from Christ School. You see that in the beginning of the game, they came out a little flat defensively, gave up some open shots. High Point took advantage. But then you really see the ability of Christ School to get out on the break, to be unselfish, to finish difficult shots. And, they're going to need every single one of those points and every single one taking advantage of those opportunities against Greensboro Day, who is just fantastically coached. We know they are coached by
Freddie Johnson,
who picked up his 1,000th win this year. And they're going to be great. And, you're going to have to bring literally everything that you have. As Peter Lash, they're going to call that on the floor, I believe. Nobody likes the call.
Yeah, they're going to wave off the basket after a great hustle play there by Lash awareness. And they're going to talk about this, actually. Either way, it looks like
Peter will go to the line for 2 or for 1. Let's see. Basket is going to be good.
and Lash will go try to make it a 3-point play.
25-point game with just under 2 minutes remaining. Got some confusion here. Oh, just figuring out who the foul was on for High Point.
So as of now, like you said, looks like Christ School will be facing Greensboro Day next in the semifinals of 3A competition. And that will be played up in, I believe, Raleigh, Greensboro area.
Next will be at Forsyth Country Day.
Forsyth, all
Yeah,
right.
Both games, both semifinal games, as well as the championship the following day at noon. So the semifinal games will be at 3:30 and 6:30. We will play at 6:30. And then the state championship will be against, will be at noon on Saturday.
So now in for the Greenies, some young guys. Number 10, Drew Redmond. Number 12, Rodney McDay. And number 21, Adam Keever. And Rodney.
Yeah, we'll go to the line to shoot 2, I believe.
His first time dressing with Varsity. Could be his first varsity basket.
Now with 1 minute and 9 seconds left in this game, we can mention that it's great that Christ School will be moving on. This is their last home game of the year, but I would be remiss not to mention, Will, that this is your last game on the Christ School Broadcast Network. As you look back at all the time you spent doing this, what do these last moments mean to you here?
Oh, it's been great. I mean, watched a lot of good basketball during my time here. Watched us play a lot of good teams as well, nationally ranked players, future NBA players, and I'll tell you what, it's been awesome to watch this and experience this. So I thank Mr. Weathersby for the opportunity to do this, and Thomas Hafer, you, Hunter Vines, all for doing it with me.
Well, I have to say you guys do a great job. We enjoy watching you, and it's always great that our fans have the opportunity to hear a little bit about what's going on from not just a big fan of the Greenies, but also a student athlete here at Christ School. As the Greenies have now lengthened their lead to 30 points. I would say at this point we can say this game is no longer in doubt, and Christ School will move on to face Greensboro Day, the number 2 ranked team in the state in the NCISAA, next week at Forsyth Country Day at 6:30. Man, young squad out here as we have, let's see, what is this, 4 freshmen?
4 freshmen and 1 sophomore, I believe.
Yeah, absolutely. Wow. The future is bright for Christ School.
You're right about that. So just 20 seconds remain as Christ School looks like they're going to move on to the semifinals. I think back-to-back years. I believe last year they went to
No, actually they fell at Providence Day in the quarterfinals. I believe it was a 2 or 3 point game. Was close all throughout, but I think this is actually the first time that Christ School has been to the semifinals since they were last here, in which they lost to Wesleyan Christian Academy. They're moving on here, 30-point win. Can't say after that first quarter we thought that a 30-point win was going to happen, but Christ School, they really improved defensively throughout the game, communicated, started knocking down some of their outside shots. We saw Austin hit 3 threes. We saw Brad Halverson hit 1. We saw Norris Berry start the game off with 1, and it's 2 games left. There's 2 games left. It's you're going to have to. We lost to Greensboro Day earlier in the year, I think by 13 here, and what was just our 4th game of the year. We're going to have to bring it next week. if we want any chance of making that state championship game.
You're right about that, and with Christ School's schedule, they've played over 30 games, so I feel like they've got to be tired at this point, but it's playoff time, and with a win like this, that's got to add some energy. I bet they're excited, and they're ready to face Greensboro Day again. They've played them before, so they'll have a little idea about how they play coming into it, and should be fun to watch. I know I'll probably attend that game. I don't know
absolutely.
if you will.
Oh, for sure.
So if you want to keep up with that, you can follow on Twitter. I know Green Sports will keep you updated, and thank you again for tuning in, and thank you, Coach Long, for everything.
Hey, thank you for everything that you've done for this school and the Christ School Broadcast Network. It was fun today. Always nice to end the season here on the CSBN with a win, especially a 30-point win in which the team played so well. So thanks to you tuning in, and Will, thanks to you on your final broadcast.
Thank you, and we'll see you next time.